Hey. Hello? Okay. All right, this is me. I'm gonna make this quick because I am tired and it's late, but I have been trying to get time to do another real live video, and here we are. So, first thing I'm gonna do is go to this. All right. Okay, so what's happening here is, first of all, I totally did this ass backwards, and because it's late and I'm tired, I hadn't figured out that I need to hit record. So I'm trying to pre-record this, and I hit record on the software, and it asks you twice to record. So I hit it once, didn't look again, and I just went ahead and I did this whole sketch live, not thinking anything of whether or not it was even recording. And should have occurred to me when I didn't see the ticker up in the top left, but I didn't. So welcome to me. This is Ken, and I screwed up because, as I've said on every other broadcast I've ever done, I'm not actually a broadcaster. Here's what's up, though. I have been so busy since the last Kickstarter, and if you haven't been paying attention, I ran a Kickstarter last month for my next book, Hatched, which is a sketchbook project. It's going to include a lot of fun new stuff and some rehashing of old stuff. I'm very excited about repackaging and putting out a gallery, basically, of a bunch of work of mine from the past, the present, and maybe even the future. All right. And then I talked a little bit about Sky Princess, and here's a couple of samples from Sky Princess. This new book coming up is from Earth Team Green, and I've got some great people I'm working with there. I'm really happy to see this come out. I'm going to revisit very quickly the history of this page. We're going to call this page 17. And I want to talk about what I've done here because sometimes I get questions about, my process. So here's a bit of the process. After I draw a very rough sketch of a layout, a thumbnail, basically, which is just nothing more than a scribble or a doodle about what the page should look like. The panels, the characters, what the action is, different angles, just basically what the page is going to look like. It starts out with a stick figure type of sketch. I don't spend a lot of time on those because I lose the authenticity of the page the more times I draw it. If I redraw the same thing over and over, I end up copying, and it takes some of the creativity out of the moment. So I really need to work out roughly what the page is going to be before I go to the actual drawing, which is what we're seeing here. And even this is the very beginning of the drawing, which is the pencils. Why are they blue? In case you didn't know, I draw my pencils in blue using a sharp mechanical pencil filled with blue lead because I want the lines to be crisp, and I hate sharpening my pencil. And when I make it blue, I can scan it in black and white once it's inked, and the blue lines straight disappear. That eliminates any need for erasing. It eliminates. Let's drop my earbud. Eliminates any degradation of the inks, and it just makes everything nice and clean. I just scan at a super high resolution, like 600 dpi in black and white, and then it only picks up the black and the white, not the blue. So that's why we go to the blue line. Some artists use red, and I think for the same reasons. My scanners at home don't pick up red that way though. They pick up only blue. Blue is the one color, and it's got to be like a lighter shade of blue. There's an actual non-repro blue that they make. Um, if I use red or anything but the blue, my scanner will pick it up and make it look gray, and I don't need that. So that's why I'm with blue. Now, once I've got this down, and you'll notice too, the blacks on the borders I did those in black just because those are going to stay black. I'll probably, I think I darkened those and touched them up in Photoshop afterwards, but it just gives me a clear vision of my borders for each panel. And each panel to me is a piece of its own art, so I like having them sort of able to be segregated in my head and on my page. So once I've got the pencils figured out there for the most part, and I did this page pretty tight. A lot of times I do a lot of looser sketches because I'm just going to polish it up in ink anyway. But this one, I wanted it to look good and make sure it was going to be right. And two, this one is for a job, like not just a comic that I'm making for fun. This is actually for a job. So it's important to me that I present the best page at every stage that I can, so that um, the publisher has a clear sense of where the page is going. Because at every step, they have the chance to tell me to fix something. So I show them this page before I show them the inks, because then once I go to inks, I can't, go back. I'm still drawing physically over top of these pencils, so it's harder to change it once I start inking it. But once I'm penciled, I'll go in with Photoshop though and put in some text balloons. These are very, very rough. Didn't end up being the final balloons, but they're just there to make sure that I've got room for all of the dialogue that needs to go on there without covering up too much of my art, and make sure that the story can flow fairly well and is readable to the people. Sometimes I, as an artist, don't like to leave room for bubbles, and I forget that. So I'm glad that I did leave that skyline, for example. Then that's kind of empty space that you can put balloons in. Oop, that's not it. You put the balloons in like that, and you're doing fine. So once I'm there, I go from pencils to inks, and this is the inked version of that page. Same thing, but you can see inking is not tracing. It is it's finishing, it's polishing. You can see, if you look at this, you can see a lot of areas where I've made changes in that inking process. I've added things, I've changed things, I've certainly given depth and different line weight to items, so that picture really, like, it looks good enough in pencil, really takes shape in the inking. Now, personally, I like to do a lot of different stuff in my inking. Um, if you've seen any of my other books, like um, my horror books, my zombie stuff, the upcoming Elder book, or certainly Spring River, I go really hard on the cross hatching because I need the cross hatching to do the work that the colors can't do. Normally, I don't have that much color. But this project, this job, is actually meant to be colored. So I went a little lighter, or not so heavy rather, on the inks. I did a lot of cross hatching, a lot of shading here, but I mean, I could have gone and would have gone way harder if not for the fact that I have to color it still. And it's sort of a waste to do things with color or with inks that you can do with color, like some of these highlights, for example. Look at this alien. The first guy, alien, in the top left. Very flat in ink. Shows up. I've got shadow and highlights. Now, I could have done some of that shadow and highlights with cross hatching, black and white. But if I'd done that and then colored it, I would have to have done the work twice, and it wouldn't look as good. It would frankly look muddled and messy. So when I know I'm going to do coloring, I do my best to um, go easy on the line art. leave room for the coloring. So you can see the difference here. I added highlights from the sun, and there's a reflection of the sunset and some of the darkness on the wood and the grain. I made that dingy too, with a little tool called a burn tool. So once that looks good and it's approved by the writer or publisher, then I'm going to add the text bubbles, finished text balloons, and then the page is pretty much complete. And I wanted to show you this because I'm really enjoying working on the Sky Princess. Here's the next page, or a couple pages down actually coming up, where she's walking off into the woods. She's wrapped in this blanket. Blanket's about to become her magic cape, but she doesn't know that yet at this point in the story. But this is something I did. I'm really happy with a lot of the foreshadowing of the leaves in the front and the trees in the background. I think there's a good depth. I've got at least three levels: foreground, middle ground, and background, and a nice dark background to make the front character just pop. So I'm having a lot of fun doing the Sky Princess, and that's the new thing I'm working on next. In a nutshell, I'm talking really fast because I wanted to wrap this up. Like I said, I recorded a whole half-hour video of me doing basically this drawing, and I just forgot to record it. So you're not going to get to see me draw this, unfortunately, because I've already done it. Um, maybe I'll touch it up and do an inking video next of it because I just wanted to share some new Sky Princess stuff. And I'm very tired. Why? Because there's two things been going on in my life. After the Kickstarter, I began working a seasonal gig at Fashion Square Mall. That is not the best picture. Why did I choose that? I don't know. Apparently, I have a lot of thumbs. Um, I'm running a calendar set at the mall, and it's just a quick gig for some holiday money. But it's fun, and it's super easy. And we sell a lot of neat stuff at the calendar set. And I always get calendars for people for Christmas every year. Now I get employee discount. So that cut into my time though. I've still been doing art though at nights. I just haven't had time for like broadcasting and live videos and stuff and some of the promotion that I was doing really heavily during the Hatched Kickstarter and the Angel's Blood Kickstarter. And I don't want to drop that. I really like it. But it's just something I haven't had enough time for lately. I'm dropping this video just to remind the world I'm still out there and say hi to some of you that look forward to watching my drawing videos and maybe see what's going on next. The other thing is my daughter is in play, and I'm the prop dad, so I get to do some art for the play. I love that stuff. Now, fun story, quick. She was in Tarzan. She was in the play Tarzan years and years ago, 7 years ago. As a little kid, she was a baby gorilla. She was, in fact, the baby gorilla that gets killed in the beginning of the play that prompts the mama gorilla to adopt Tarzan in the first place. Uh, and she was really neat and really cute and little. And now it's like 7 years later, and they have a different director. And it comes time, like most everybody that was in Tarzan has grown up and graduated, and now she's in middle school, and they're doing Tarzan again. And so there's a scene in Tarzan where Jane is an artist, and if you've seen the movie, you see Jane has a sketchbook where she's sketching things that she's studying in the jungle, like the gorillas and the flora and fauna. So we need some examples for the audience to see of Jane's sketchbook. So I become Jane for a minute, and we're gonna see some of the rough things. I even signed it in the bottom corner. Signed it Jane. So Jane's studying the jungle flowers, and she's studying the gorillas. Uh, and so I wanted to do kind of a nice drawing there. And I did some fun stuff with grayscale markers in this to make it look kind of like a sketchbook, but also I needed it to be seen from the audience. So I knew I needed to use some thick, dark inks. So there's There's some heavy marker on there, but there's also some light grays. So maybe hopefully make it convey that it's a sketchbook. The flora and fauna is a little even sketchier. I didn't want to go too bold, but again, it has to be seen from the audience. So I needed that. What she really was studying, though, Jane studies Tarzan. Oh, that Tarzan. Same thing. I did a lot of grayscale stuff here. In fact, this isn't the finished picture at all because I have more pencil sketchy stuff going on around the edges, make it look like a pencil drawing from a sketchbook of hers. So for me, that's just where I've been. Besides making comics like The Sky Princess, that's an ongoing job that I'm working on. Uh, Working my retail gig. Come visit us at Fashion Square Mall. Get your calendar. We got toys and puzzles too. Lots of stuffed animals, fun stuff for everyone, and of course, drawing stuff for my daughter's play. You can't tell, but this is on a big, big sketchboard drawing paper, like poster board size, maybe 2.5 by 3 feet. And that's it. That's it for me. This video has been quick. I'm sorry I didn't get to do any live drawing on it, but thanks to everyone for tuning in. Check out my socials. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. That's just at Ken Lenar. You just got to remember there's 2 A's in Lenar. You can order any of my self-published comics and some of my projects with other people on Indie Planet. Follow that link or just go to search and type in Lenar, and you'll find anything that I've done, including Global Defense Force, Angel's Blood, Spring River, Refrigerator Door, and soon to be Hatched. Check this out. Remember to sign up for my email list. Guys, if you want to see any Ken's Comics stuff, get a free Ken's comic by going to this link, kenscomics.net/0, or you can go to /Spring River. If you like Spring River more, you can get a free copy digitally of Spring River. And that will get you on the list for all the latest stuff that I'm doing, because 2021 was big. 2022 is going to be even bigger. I guarantee it, because I've got the Hatched book coming out. Sky Princess is coming out. I've got conventions that I've already booked and paid for tables, so I'm definitely going. Pandemic be damned. I'm vaccinated. I'll be masked up. I will be as safe as I can be, sanitized like hell, but I am going to be there. I've already done some shows and some live appearances this year. I'm really excited to get back in the groove of doing live art again. It is my lifeblood. And you can go to earthteamgreen.org, follow the link below, and see all the latest past and present stuff from Earth Team Green and the upcoming Sky Princess project. Guys, I love making art, and I thank everyone that supports me, follows me, or even just gives me a like, a nod, or a pat on the back. It really means the world. I'm going to get some sleep because I got to work my day job tomorrow, but I'll be making more comics into the wee hours every day. Hit me up. And be nice to each other and do something good for somebody, because we exist only by virtue of one another. Nobody's alone in this world. Oh, which reminds me, I want to give a shout out to my man Ted Davies. Go to teddaviesartistry.com and check out Ted. Ted is an amazing and prolific creator. I don't know how he does it, but he's on like 4 dozen regular talk shows a week on YouTube, including some of them with me. I've done 3 of his shows. He's nice enough to interview me and talk about my work. teddaviesartistry.com. Follow KenTALKS on his YouTube channel. He's got several shows about making comics, about creating things. He does shows about cigars and drink mixing and watches. And it's ridiculous. I just got to tell you, follow Ted. It's like a rabbit hole unto itself. It's a lot of fun. And he supports me, so I support him, because I think it's important that creative people support creative people, because if we don't, who will? Take care, be good, have a great holiday.